Hello, I'm making a video for Kurt. And the reason why I can remember that name Kurt is because of the singer Kurt Cobain, who was a heroin addict. And he was the singer of Nirvana. I don't know if you know about Kurt Cobain, but he is very famous. Okay. And his daughter is famous too. So my friend Elsa from France was a fan of Kurt Cobain. I don't know if his name is spelled with a C or with a K, but I think with a C like yours. So Kurt Cobain. And so he is from the United States. He was from the United States, but he has French ancestry and other mixed European mixes. So I don't know if he has equatorial DNA, but I don't think he does. I think he is French and German, something like that. So, and my friend Elsa from France was a huge fan of his, and I think she still is. She always played his music when we lived together in Los Angeles on Overland Avenue. We used to live on Overland in a very, very large apartment building. We rented an apartment, a large apartment, and that was really the best apartment that I've ever lived in my entire life. And so we split the costs, and we were both at the Primal Training Center to become therapists, training to become primal therapists. The school by Dr. Arthur Janoff. We're both incredible fans of his, and her aunt is Franz Janoff, who is married to Art Janoff. So he married Franz, who is from France, and Elsa is her niece. And so Elsa was looking for a roommate, and I said, okay, I will move in, and it was really the best. That was the best time during the time at the center, because the apartment was amazing, and the friendship with Elsa was amazing. The problem occurred when Elsa wanted to go to bars and drink, and I said to her, I have put that behind me. I have put that phase behind me. And I was not stable enough psychologically at that time to go to a bar and just sit there without drinking alcohol and without being lured into any of these things. So the light is getting pretty. I'm putting this. So I have my equatorial beach photo on my Chromebook, and I made this. I made this image now. I put it on just a square, and I can see the ocean water around it, and that makes the video a bit lighter, that shines that light from that equatorial photo onto me. So, and this is a real beautiful ocean rock that has almost the same color as that equatorial water. It's real nice, and like my artwork above me. So I can take any subject. I can really start with any subject and just completely lose myself into any kind of side subject and any kind of subject that ties into the first subject, and I can just completely run off with it and go from one subject into another subject and into another subject. And that's what I always do in my videos, and it's quite therapeutic for me to do, and it feels good to talk about the center. It feels good to talk about psychology and the time with Elsa at the center in that apartment, and when I was 26 and we still had hope. Now we're kind of like, we're middle-aged and a little bit disillusioned. So, because we didn't meet our Prince Charming and we didn't win the jackpot anywhere, and we are not rich. We're both artists, and she's back in France, and I met Paul in LA, so that was pretty cool. You know, I always wanted to meet a man who has Great Danes. And so the law of attraction brought us together, just as friends, you know. So, and then much later we got together and got married and moved in together, and I moved into his small house that we were able to sell for a lot because of the location. Okay, Marina del Rey. So, and so that was very nice. So his dad bought that house for, I don't know, something like $10,000, like a long time ago. Yeah. And then it went up to like almost $1 million. So that's pretty amazing, without insulation in the walls. So yeah, and then LA got more and more and more convoluted and stuffed, and the air got worse, and we decided, okay, before the bubble bursts, we're going to sell the house and move somewhere else. And so that's what we did. We got a larger motorhome, and we moved into that motorhome with our dog Samantha, and we traveled for like almost 3 years, and we wanted to see the places first and the people and see what's going on, and before we make a decision on buying another property. So, and that's what we did, but we made a bunch of mistakes because all the problems, you know, was the community and the corruption. We could not. There was no way we could foresee all of this. So, but as activists, we tried to help make things better. We got the fluoride out of the water, out of the drinking water, together with another activist lady. We helped her. That was her pet project, and we helped her with that, and we got that accomplished. All of us, you know, all of us activists got that accomplished. So that's pretty awesome. And I got things accomplished completely on my own. I did a whale event, and I also got the local stewardship groups to not have pesticides sprayed as an invasive species interception programs, which they wanted to do, which is unbelievably corrupt and double standard. it's an atrocity for environmentalists to accept an intervention method that kills the environment. I mean, it's a complete irony. It's shocking for me to see that what people are willing to do for money and for grant money and all of this. So anyway, I got her stopped with that, and I did this all by myself. So that's good. So I came there to that community, and they said to me, "How dare you come here to this community? You don't even know the people, and you're already accusing us of doing this and this and this." I didn't argue with her, and that was in the beginning. I thought, oh, let me see what's going on, and then I saw that the European beach grass isn't even hurting anything, and there was actually an animal living there, eating the roots of that, living on that, and they were pulling that beach grass out and burning it and calling that environmentalism. And then she wanted to use pesticides to spray on an entire wetland area, and I got that stopped just in the nick of time, because she's an alcoholic and accidentally pressed the wrong button and sent all of her constituents, the entire community emails over to everyone else. So I took all of those emails and I sent a round letter, and I said, "Oh, she's about to spray this very dangerous pesticide on the wetlands. Why don't we get this really quickly stopped?" Okay. And then the other people who all pride themselves of being super compassionate, they had no other choice other than to say, "Oh yeah, the emperor doesn't have any clothes on. Let's stop her from doing that." So they did. Okay. And if it wasn't for me, the truther clown, the whistleblower, this would not have been stopped. Okay. And that's why I'm hated wherever I go, because I am the financial party pooper with very selfish people. So, and talking about Kurt Cobain, he is like many, 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 many highly sensitive people, one of those people who have been crushed by the brutality of selfish humans. The selfish humans make up 95% of this entire species. So no wonder that Kurt Cobain was crushed by that. No wonder that anybody is crushed by that and ends up taking drugs. So when Elsa said to me, "Let's go to bars, let's have some fun," I said, "No, I've put this behind me." I had just put that behind me like a year before. So I quit everything at 25, then at 26, almost 27. Actually, I was, when I moved in with Elsa, I was 27, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. It was in somewhere, I moved in with her somewhere May 1993, I think. That's what it was. A long time ago. So, yeah. And I never wanted kids, and I had abortions, and I knew that I also didn't want to get married. We did this for the green card, so, and also saved some tax on real estate and stuff like that. So So when Elsa said, "Oh, let's just have some fun again," I said, "No, absolutely not. If I had gone back there with her, then I would have been lured into this, and then and they would have said, 'Oh, just this one beer,' and then I would have been back in that addiction. I wasn't a total alcoholic, but I was when I started drinking, I was getting really into it. I was being drawn into this because I felt the numbness. I felt how it was numbing my psychological pain from childhood. And not just the pain from childhood, but this never-ending hurt. The never-ending hurt from the callous and selfish and brutal people around me. How can we heal if we're constantly exposed to selfish and brutal people, non-stop? We can't. There's a Norwegian lady that I met yesterday who has been talking about this in depth in her videos. Her name is Vera, and I forgot the last name. Williamson, I think. And I'll put the link under my video. She's really amazing. I highly recommend to people to watch her videos. She talks about this, how she actually had chronic fatigue syndrome from being nice to callous people and always trying to cater to them and making it nice for them, for our own Norwegian family. And it will never be enough, because when they are callous and brutal, they feel entitlement and they take people for granted, and they will just ask for more services and more help and more perfectionism. Parents that expect their children to be perfectionists and everything. And my dad wanted me to be Leonardo da Vinci and Van Gogh and nothing less, So it's like, I don't want to be Leonardo da Vinci in the first place, or Van Gogh, or any of these Rubens, or any of these, Michelangelo and Raphael. Yeah. That is not who I am. I'm a modern artist. I paint what I want to paint. I can also draw. I can draw very well. But then when I draw, it is very realistic. Okay. But I don't like to be stuck with something that I see in front of me, just that particular shape. It always by itself wants to morph things out of proportions, and that's just what I love to do, And my friend Elsa is an artist, and she paints. She's also a very good artist and also abstract. And she paints out of her guts, the emotional stuff and all of that. And also very, very artistic. And very attuned and very outer galactic. So, very nice. So, but there's so much work to do psychologically, and I don't know. I can't say anything about her life because, and I'm not going to tell anything about her life anyway. Those things are personal. But there's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about, a lot of stuff that should be talked about. It's always like meeting this fine line, this border between how much can I talk about this, how much is still acceptable within the range of respect of people in society. And yeah, so it's not easy. It's a little bit tricky. So because I need to talk about these things, because the stuff has to come out to the surface. If we don't talk about it, then it will never heal. Those things will never heal. They can only heal if we actually bring this stuff out to the surface. So this all that emotional pain. Yeah. There's this emotional pain that is boiling in our brains, and that wants to come up with the force, and we put a lid on it and we say, no, I don't want to. It goes to the point where we don't even know there's emotional pain for some people. My mother, for example, who uses denial, so, and then when she's cornered with people saying, wait a minute, look at that behavior of yours, when she's cornered, then she kicks out violently, and she says, well, then let Peter marry Barbara and then I'll just commit suicide. That's how my mother reacts when she's cornered. So, and that's what the troll does when the troll is being nailed down pinned down, by truth. And where there's no more denial escape route, then they will lash out and kick out. They use violence. So they also use narcotics and alcohol and all of that, but the psychopaths act things out with violence, while the sensitive people, the really highly compassionate people like Kurt Cobain, they don't act it out with violence. They would never act it out with violence, no matter what, no matter how much they were beaten down in childhood. So brain anatomy plays a huge role in this. But childhood pain is there in all of us, in almost all of us, almost all. Some people more, some people less, some people very severe. Like Teal Swan. She was abused in a ritualistic, like a satanic cult. I didn't realize how sick some people are. I mean, the sickness can really go out of proportions in some people, and that's extreme troll energy when people go into that kind of state of denial, where they then act out unbelievably violent acts on innocent beings, animals and children. And it's all the same thing. It's the same thing that the same energy that's happening in the chat rooms with people that are coming at me and insulting my parents. Because they know it hurts, so they want to hurt, If they see someone as super untouched by any of this, then they'll leave that person alone. But if they see, women, they don't want to be called man or tranny or granny, when they see the vulnerability, they will do more, because they get a kick out of it. It's a kick, like some kind of ego boost, because then they feel like they're in control, and it's an illusion, but that's what they do. It's an act of violence. And that's the same as those people that are in complete denial, where this violence is almost acted out of in some kind of zombie-like unconsciousness, because there's no conscious insight into what's actually going on in these people. And they have a brain anatomy where they have almost no compassion, where the compassion center in the brain is atrophied, actually, and some have this is actually how they were born. And it's those people seem to be the majority. They seem to be, I don't know, 70% of those. But it's only 20% that from the human species that will act it out actively. They will drive over that desert tortoise in the street. And they have done that test. They call it the desert tortoise, like a rubber desert tortoise, rubber turtle that was put in the road, and 20% of people went out of their way to drive over that turtle, to trying to kill that turtle. They didn't know that was made out of rubber. It was a test, psychological test. So 20% of, and that went on for many months, 20% of the population was there. And those are the real psychopaths, the ones that don't have the prefrontal cortex function, the ones that have no fear, and they have no compassion, and they're sadistic. They feel like they feel somehow in control, or they feel like they feel like they have power or something, which is an illusion, of course. They have the least power of all those people that hurt others. It's real low vibrational energy. Owen Cook talks about this a lot. He's trying to help these incel type of men that are violent. And so when you are a compassionate person, and when you don't hide yourself, you will find a woman. You will, 100%. Any woman of your choice. You can get Kali, you can get Emmy, you can get any girl, young woman, of your choice. That there's also some women are also selfish, of course, but you can, it depends on, first of all, you're good looking, I don't see any reason why you should feel shy about yourself. There's no reason for it. You can get a young woman, okay, because you're compassionate, okay. Most women want a compassionate partner. That's the truth. Okay. Kurt Cobain always found a woman because he was compassionate. But he, unfortunately, because of his psychological illness, he was drawn to the callous kind of women, like that Courtney Love. So, which is the wrong name for her, because she's a very selfish, callous person. So even her daughter doesn't talk to her anymore. So her daughter is compassionate. She got that from her father. So yeah, a lot of kind-hearted men are drawn to callous women. And those exist, of course, too. I'm not saying that women have a lot more mother love or something. No, because most people don't have it. Okay, most humans don't have it. Don't have that mother love, men or women. Okay, so it's the very few compassionate men and women who have that mother instinct, the father instinct, the real love, the real compassion, and you, Kurt, you have it. Okay. You also are a very sensitive and very poetic person. Okay. And it's tragic. I see an enormous tragedy that you grew up in a society where they didn't give you the chance for high school, higher education, and instead they bombard you with the military and with the wrong ideas about role play of men, role attribution, like men are supposed to be callous or supposed to be brutal or supposed to be militant and going to the military. And if a sensitive man, I'm not talking about the physique right now, I'm talking about, obviously you're a good looking man, strong in everything, okay? I'm talking about the mind, the sensitivity of the brain. Yeah. A sensitive, poetic brain being sent to the military, to a boot camp. I mean, no wonder that it crushes someone. No wonder that it's a lot of sensitive men have committed suicide in the military also. A lot of men sent to the front in Vietnam to shoot the enemy turned the gun on themselves because they knew if they would run away and the military people would find them, they would execute them. They might even torture them. There's no telling. So they just couldn't take it anymore, and they turned the gun on themselves, or they just walked out there towards the enemy and let the so-called enemy, they make that. They created this front of enemies. So they let the opposition shoot them. Some of them ran away. Some of them made it out into the jungle and lived there for the rest of their lives and married a native Vietnamese girl and hid themselves. Some of them went over to the opposition, to the Viet Cong, and said, "I've had it with the military. I'm surrendering myself to you." Okay. And they would let them be put in prison as prisoners of war and just say, "I've had it, I don't want to." They're the so-called outsiders, or the so-called in Germany Aussteiger, when someone steps out of that society, that callous society. Someone said, "I've had it. I'm not going to be part of this anymore, of this war society. I don't want to be part of that. I am not. I never was." So I personally, in Germany, only the men are drafted to do military service. So because of that, I never had anything to do with that in the first place. But if I lived in a society where women were also drafted, I would not do it. I would not do it. I would refuse. I would absolutely refuse. And my brother did. He refused. He wrote a letter of I know, how's that called? Conscientious objection to the military service. So then he was drafted to do medic service, community service instead, and that's what he did. And we both caught real serious chicken pox from an old woman that he was cleaning the house for during that service time. and she had chronic chicken pox, and we both got it. And I still have scars from that in my face. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd rather get scars from chicken pox than serve in the military and even get chicken pox from my brother, who refused to serve in the military and did community service instead. And I got it just as a casualty because I hung out. We were hanging out, we were living with my parents at that time. So it's funny, my parents didn't catch that. So yeah, it's all rough, but I would never, ever, ever serve the oil industry or some kind of military regime. Never. I don't know, if I was forced into hurting someone, I would rather if they shoot me instead. My dad said it once. He said, he's talking about the Nazi era. My dad was born in 1930, so he was a teenager during the Nazi era. He saw all of this. He's experienced this whole horror. And he said to us that if he was over 18 at that time, and if they had drafted him, which they didn't, he was lucky that he was too young for that, to be drafted at that time. But my grandfather was drafted, and he did go. But he had a lot of connections, and they helped him to be relocated to France, and he was just doing other things there. So he had people help him not to get to the front. But he's also served in the First World War, my grandfather, and he even got a bullet wound, and would show us with pride. And I thought, how can anyone be proud of something like this? So my dad said to everyone, I could never shoot someone. I could never, ever shoot any innocent living being, animal or person. I would say, if the Nazis asked me to shoot someone, I would say, go ahead and shoot me then. That's what he said to us. And I thought, that's great, So I really thought that is really, really, really good. He also told his hunter friends, he had some hunter friends, he always, when they were nice people, but for some reason they felt the need to do this horrific thing. And today, I would stand up to them. I'd stand up for the animals against those people. I would always talk to them about this. But my dad did. He always talked to the hunters, and he said to them, I could never shoot an animal. And that made them feel a little bit uneasy and uncomfortable. I could see it in their faces. But my dad would always bring that up. So every time they were talking about their hunting lodge and all of that stuff, my dad would say, I can never shoot an animal, ever. Never shoot an innocent being. So, and I love my dad for that. I highly respect him for that. So it's really good. It's wonderful. So then later on in life, I didn't get along with my dad because he's in the Rotary Club and he knows a lot of influential people. And in the Rotary Club, he could give a presentation. That's what they do. They have the people from different professions giving presentations. And I have been asking and begging my dad to give a presentation about the horror of active sonar that they are implementing in the oceans and the whales dying gruesome death from active sonar, from those landscape mapping of active sonar loudspeakers, and what it does to the whales. And I wanted him to give a presentation, and he refused. And I know why he refused to do this. Is because he did not want to become unpopular. So he put his popularity over that. So for my dad, I know exactly what it is with my dad. He's a kind-hearted person, very compassionate. But when something is out of sight and out of mind, then he has enough distance to that psychologically. And then it's easier for him to put that out of his mind, and also easier for him to choose his popularity over the ethical action that needs to be taken. So, and that's what I don't have in common with any of these people. Okay, my family, my entire family, the entire wider family, everyone, my brother, everyone. Okay, including all of those people, all of the friends. There's only one woman, one girl, Britta, who is the daughter of a very good friend of my parents. She's also an animal rights activist. That's very rare to find people like this. Very, very rare. And her sister is also pretty good with that also. So, and then I have a cousin who is also leaning in that direction. I don't know how far, but I know that Britta is. But I don't know how far any of them goes with the activism. So I think I go the farthest because I'm also willing to give my life for the animals. I'm willing to give my life at any time if that would make the world good. Okay, anytime. I'm even willing to suffer if that would make the world good in an instant. It's not going to. I mean, that's an unrealistic idea. Okay, but as a psychological dilemma scenario, that's what I would do without any hesitation. Okay, if an extraterrestrial said, "I'll make the world good, but you have to suffer and die," I'd say, "Okay, take me. I'm willing to die for the world, for ending suffering in the world." Okay, so there are some other people like myself, but they're very rare in the world. Okay, this probably sounds really, really grandstandish, but it is a fact. Okay, it is what it is. I'm not gonna try to hide this. Why should I hide it? Hide it in order to look less grandstandish or look less grandiose. It's not. I don't see it as grandiose. I see it as it's a necessity. Okay, so but that's how my brain works, and because I'm different to others, I will be hated. And there's another guy in there or girl in the chat room, dancer, something like Gallic dancer, who said that too today, that whenever she wants to bring peace and love to the world, that she gets bombarded with hate. Okay, I said because that's how the haters function. Okay? They function like that. They don't like it when someone brings love and peace to the world. Okay, you can clearly see these thought processes in people in the chat room. When there's a Muslim coming into the chat room, it is completely out in the open, the entire thought process, okay? Because they're also very, very blatant and brazen in opening that up to the world without wanting to open that up to the world. They would rather not be seen. They would rather not have people. They would rather not show all of these thought processes of total lack of love. But with them, they're actually proud of it, of that total lack of love. That's how it is. It's completely reversed, everything. Their virtue system is completely upside down. And so that's very revealing, okay, for me. That gives me a lot of insight into the psychology of people, talking to people in chat rooms. I can't talk for very long to those kind of psychopaths. It's too depressing. It feels like it hurts. It burns, actually. Burns in my solar plexus to see that kind of callousness and brutality and violence in people. And so I see that the majority of people are violent and brutal, and anyone who's compassionate and has love and is sweet, it will be every single person, every child will be crushed by that, by those type of parents. My parents who are highly neurotic, who have buried whatever compassion they had to begin with, buried deep down. So I'm gonna wrap the video up now because it's coming close to an hour. I don't want to do more than an hour of video, but it's kind of cool to talk about these things, and also kind of cool to meet someone on the internet loosely or whatever. I don't view it as, it's not some kind of binding type of, it doesn't have to be a binding type of friendship. They can be very fleeting, these friendships, I don't bind anyone to me, but when I meet someone kind, I like to greet them, and I like to make a video for them. I've made videos for my friend Sandy. And I also want to say something about this Rollo Tomassi. And you look a little bit like Rollo Tomassi, probably know Rollo Tomassi. And you're a little bit like him. And but you're much kinder. I mean, he's kind too. He's very kind and sensitive. But you're exceptionally poetic and kind and sensitive. And this is probably all regarded what I do. All of this, my activism work, my trying to help people, and all of this probably regarded by most people as wrong, and by the haters it's absolutely hated. Like that Muslim guy said, he does not like to talk about emotions. He hates people for bringing that up. But it needs to be brought up, unfortunately, or we can't heal it. Okay, so, and I'm trying to help people heal. I'm trying to just share what I know, the facts about all of this, psychology, the healing process, the inwardness process. And so, again, if people find me ugly physically, they don't have to watch my videos, or like in the chat rooms, they can block me, they don't have to see my photo again. The reason why I show myself like this is to show he's a real person, okay? A real woman, okay? With a real womanly body, natural with womanly hormones and girly and everything, equally intelligent to men, demonstrating to the world we women are equally intelligent to men, which a lot of men don't want to hear, but they need to hear it. Okay, I'm a feminist, but I'm not a militant feminist. Okay, I'm not entitled. I'm against affirmative action. Okay, I am neither right wing nor left wing. I am a rationalist. I'm a compassionate cosmist. Okay, that's what I am. I'm a real, in a real sense, progressive, not a liberal progressive. Oh, not at all. Okay, so I hate liberalism. This doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so I'm a real person. I'm showing myself. I'm here. I'm not some kind of chatbot. I am here for anyone who needs someone to talk to as a friend. So, and this is what I want to talk to you guys in the very end of this video is what I see I studied Rollo Tomassi and the men's rights movement. And what I see is, it's the same thing as with the Black Lives Matter. So the men's rights movement has every man from any kind of cultural background and ethnicity. There's a lot of congruence with the Black Lives Matter movement because what they have in common is entitlement. And they think that they're entitled to enormous fun with women, but they are also entitled to not take any responsibility for their wives, girlfriends, children, etc. So that's what they have in common. So the men's rights movement in general, it's they're living in a complete misunderstanding of women, of the world, of psychology. They have created, which is very unfortunate and tragic, they have created a group of men who all act out in the same way. Thus, they never, ever get confronted with the truth and with the facts and with boundaries. They ride each other further and further into a complete insanity. And it's so unfortunate because it doesn't have to be like this. Most women don't even, again, most women are also kind of callous because most humans are, okay? So then they generalize it and think, oh, it's only women are bad, only women. No, most people are bad, okay? Men and women. And they want to blame it on the women and think, oh, this is so bad, and they're all so evil, and they take my money, and da-da-da-da-da. And they would do exactly the same thing if the law catered to them. They would marry a rich woman, they would take all of her money, they would, if they have their own lawyers and their judges, they will do exactly the same thing. So it's a complete double standard, and they have done it for centuries to women, okay? I am not okay with turning the situation around and making it lopsided again. That doesn't serve the world, okay? It's not going to serve anyone by turning it around and just changing the appearance of Adolf Hitler and making another Adolf Hitler, this time of the opposition. That's not going to work. That's not going to make anything better, okay? That's a fact. So I'm not for men's rights. I'm not for men's rights and saying we should reverse it backwards. We need complete equality, okay? I'm not for totally unjustified women's rights. so where the woman could take the house and everything the man has. So no, and then let the man sit on the street. No, that's totally unfair. No. So I am for equal rights. Okay, I care about all living beings equally much. All animals. Okay, we need to free the pigs in the slaughterhouses. Okay, we need to free all birds. All animals need to be loved and cuddled and cared for. Okay, and every person who gives that love to other living beings is automatically my friend, and so I offer my friendship, if they want to, I am there as a friend at all times. And so now I want to talk about this friend zoning that Rollo Tomasi has been talking about. So he's coming out of this mind state of being battered. He feels better. He didn't say this directly, but I can see it in his face. He feels battered by the women that are, I guess he must have had mistresses that left him or so. I'm guessing no, So, and then he feels battered by that. And he thinks, oh, the women, they just want someone like Vin Diesel. And I like the way Vin Diesel looks, of course, and all of this. So I like strong men, okay, but I always put compassion before anything else. I mean, to me, that's why I am with Paul. We're not even in a romantic relationship, but I put this friendship with a compassionate person above anything else. It's more like living with a woman, who I'm not attracted to because I'm fully straight. So. And I'm not attracted to Paul, but I'm living with him because I put living with a compassionate person above anything else. So that matters more to me than anything else. And at Rollo Tomasi, he thinks that he feels like because he can't get every hot chick that's out there, that every hot chick that he wants, that makes him mad at the hot chicks. That how can he expect? How can he be so entitled to having any hot chick he wants? I mean, it's okay to wish for them to wish for any hot chick. So put it in the wish list. I put my dream man into my wish list. So, but I can't expect to get my dream man now to say, oh yeah, I've been looking for that middle-aged woman, perfect. No, obviously not, right? So I have to lower down my standards on what I can. Who I can meet and be with, right? So, and I did. So I am with him. I had already long time ago lowered my standards because he was never my type. Also, we tried the dating thing, the relationship thing for several years. It wasn't happy. It wasn't working out. So I'm a big woman. I need a big man, but I put the compassion and the kindness over the pleasure thing, and over the any of these things that are self-serving. It would be amazing to have this dream relationship with the dream person for anyone, right? Whoever is your dream partner, that's a dream come true. Okay, but I think that's also quite rare, and that's also really only goes to those people that are, well, first of all, to those people that are regarded as stunning looking by society, so they have it obviously much easier, and they have much larger, higher ability to attract someone like this, and they have a strong fluctuation of boyfriends and girlfriends that they're going through. You can see it in Hollywood. Good for them, Unfortunately, it's the vanity thing will blind a lot of those people from what's really important, which is the kindness and the compassion. So I put the kindness and compassion above any of these other things. So I put kindness and compassion above money, and Paul has never had a lot of money. Okay. We're working really hard on building this up with the real estate. That's a real slow process with a lot of sweat, a lot of agony, a lot of problems, dealing with mold and all of these things with fixer-upper houses and all of this. So it's a lot of work that goes into it. But we are on the right track because we both know compassion's the only thing that matters, and we know that total sobriety is the only path. Okay? There is no other path. There's no other path. No matter, he used to be quite an alcoholic in the past before I met him. Thank goodness I didn't meet him when he was an alcoholic. Then I don't know if that may have prevented him from quitting. So it was good, I guess. We met at the right time, so we became life partners in a real friend-based way. So when Rollo Tomasi talks about friend zoning, women friend zoning men, there are men who are friend zoning women too, and I don't see anything wrong with friend zoning, So my life is completely different in that way, that whoever I meet is always friend zoned first. This is always friend, okay? We're friends, we're just friends, okay? And if something else develops out of this, it can, the potential is there, then that's what's going to happen, or it's not going to happen, But the friend thing is always first. And this friend zoning, this word, this term even, it comes from the men's rights groups. That comes from entitlement. That comes from, they wanna, they're friend zoning them. They want to feel like the macho man in charge right away, and the woman like meowing at them, at their feet. And that is so sexist, and that is such a misunderstanding of relationship. And is that what they want? They want a quick fuck or something? But then they're complaining that they don't have a relationship. So that's why I said to one guy, you want the cake and eat it too. I don't mean Kurt, I don't mean the upside down cake. So there was a guy in the chat room who said, Nikki, make me a cake, make me a pie. And I said, you want the pie and eat it too. So, and that is what they want. They have entitlement. So I'm not going to make any man a pie. They can make their own pies, just like you, Kurt. They can make their own pies, and they can offer the pie to a woman. And that would be really nice. Yeah, that would be a wonderful, progressive, in a real sense, futuristic, moving forward into the future towards love and peace. So if they want a pie, they make their own pie, and they can offer it to a woman. They should offer a woman something. So we need to offer each other things. I offer love too. So they can offer love back. They shouldn't be little toddlers who expect women to come into their lives, view them as the gorgeous hunk, and be submissive at their feet, and everything else is regarded as being friend zoned. No. Friend zone comes first, then the pies, then the pleasure. Okay, first friends. And that is my message to Rollo Tomasi, So I don't know how you view this, Kurt, or anyone out there, or Sandy, or anyone who views this. So I'm sure Sandy is on my side with this. So, but any men out there, I think most men in the chat room are like the Rollo Tomasi fans, who they want to be seen as the brutal hunk. That's also why they're brutal to women. And then the women go like, why are you so mean to me? And then they go, oh, I must be cutting cheese by sneezing. No, that's one guy said to me. And he was like massively verbally abusive to me. And then he thinks I'm a complete, like a wuss about that. And yeah, you're just a wuss, yes, like. And no, I don't want to be verbally abused. I don't know. I know that every woman will fully agree with me, except for the masochistic ones. So, no, I'm not masochistic. I've been through a lot of psychological abuse, and at times I wondered, am I masochistic? Am I actually? But it's what Arthur Janov said, in the teacher that I had in LA. He said that it's because of emotional pain, So we're attracted to basically we marry our mother. And that's what he said, and it's the truth, So we seek that same struggle. Mommy, love me, So I seek that the unattainable guy. I write a letter to Vin Diesel, for example, and oh, please love me. It is the same old crap from childhood. Mommy is unattainable. She is cold. She doesn't love me. So then I go and say, please love me, so I can keep up this homeostasis, the repetition compulsion of my childhood pain. And in the process of that, it's sort of this, it causes the homeostasis between the past and the present, which makes us not feel the pain of the past. That's really what this whole thing is about, was that struggle. Was the struggle for the cold-hearted partner, whether it's a man struggling for a woman or a woman struggling for a cold-hearted man. So, and I've been through all of those stages. I've been through all of this 10,000 times and back. It's like hell and back, And I've done all of this struggling with a therapist, and he knew how to deal with it, and I'm deeply, infinitely grateful to him for that. He did not abuse me. He didn't give in to this. No, he would have been kicked out of the center if he had. So he knew how to deal with this. He didn't give me a sexual relationship, which would have been probably devastating for me. That's like reenacting the past altogether. No, he was there for me as a friend all the way through. And he knew exactly how to deal with me. And every time I came up to him and I said, Shanti, and then he will say, I know what you want from me. I know what you want. Even in between session, he would do this all day long. Just me being there, hanging out there at the center. He'll say, I know what you want. Nicola, say it. Shanti, please. ... And then I will fill in the dots and I'll say, Shanti, please love me. And he said, that's it. Go in the center, go in the primal room. We had these soundproof rooms. Go in there and say it. And say it to the wall. Over and over again. Shanti, please love me. And I said that 1,000,000 times. And the pain goes back to my mother. Mommy, please love me. And she didn't give me the love. And that's the pain. And that pain has to come to the surface in me, in Elsa, in Sandy and in you and every single person in the world. And that's why we need to create therapy centers so that we can make this happen for everyone, so that people don't have to be crushed by society and stuck in these repetition cycles, begging for love with shit people, and caught up in the wrong societies of brutality and callousness, societies where there's no art allowed, like, for example, in every religion. Most religions don't even allow modern art, like the Christian religion, for example. I've talked to these people. They are afraid of modern art because modern art is attuned with the infinite cosmos. That is actually God. Okay, but they're actually afraid of God. So that's how reverse religions are, because they're afraid of, if they are attuning themselves to this painting even, then their childhood pain would suddenly speak to them and come up, and they would suddenly hear it. They have locked that all up. They don't want to hear about it. They're running away very fast from their childhood pain and from everything that is an attunement. That's an alignment with the infinite cosmos. They don't want that, so they're running away with their religion, with their regimented beliefs, okay, that are all false and fake. The path is healing, is inwardness, is meditation, is letting this speak to us again, letting the tears out, saying the words, "Mommy, love me," feeling it again, okay? And really going through it and doing this every day and freeing ourselves step by step by step. There's no more drugs necessary. There's also no pharma drugs necessary. There is no alcohol necessary. There are no intervention modalities necessary. There's no numbing necessary. There's no addiction stuff necessary, whatever the addiction is. Cutting, sex, drugs, gambling, whatever people are doing, or acting out and with violent acts. Okay? It's none of this. Okay? All of these are attempts to cover up their brain from childhood trauma, from feeling the childhood trauma. Because some people had severe childhood trauma. Okay, myself included. Okay, the path is getting into this, reading as much as you can find, and crying these tears out. And I am here for everyone who is willing to go on that path. I am here at all times. I'm here to help guide you through. I will hold you under your arm to help you walk through this, so that you don't crush and then revert back to your act outs. I help you through this bottleneck of emotional pain from childhood. Okay, you guys take care. Peace and love.